So who better to guide us than one who is out of the problem, as it were? And someone who is out of the problem can have a better perspective of how to help others to come out. And I'd just like to read the last sort of paragraph of the book, where Mike is addressing the role of God in helping us actually to see what's in the way of our coming back to that state of consciousness, which is like God. We say that we are children of God, and so the children of God must be like God, similar to God. So we started our journey really in our own truth. And so God's role is to help us to reattain that original, very pure consciousness. So Mike says here, maintaining the connection with the divine means gently reminding oneself that the light of the source is always available, but that any attachment, any ego, will get in the way and will block the light. You naturally start to notice and check any inclination to attach. You avoid reinvigorating the ego, which basically means you're not feeding the ego. You notice and dissolve the inclination to become emotional. So this really captures the essence of what we've been working on, and how our connection with the one who is beyond that illusion actually can help us. Mike says patience and practice in here, internally, with the intention to be loving towards all of creation out there, gradually returns you to be what you have always been, which is yourself. So I'm going to hand you over now to Brother Go, and welcome, Brother Go. Good morning.
Shanti, good morning.
So over to you.
Thank you. Good morning. And even though it is the last part today, our session, but I believe for all of us, it is the beginning of now, really to work on what we somehow, what Mike highlights for us, and then we really take it to our heart and practice and start the deep work. And what really, for me, that's a big realization, even though I heard it or I said it even so many times, what ego is just, I was always saying from whatever I got the definition in, which attracts me, I always say that just identifying yourself with which you are not. And but in this book, it gives me a deep understanding. And again, really the cause of that that ego, or the main culprit of the ego, what is actually called attachment. So I love the definition of the ego, which is very important for all of us, maybe to go back again and again and to remember that this is just an identification of the self with the image, with belief, with concepts, ideas. And the biggest link between emotion and ego is also one of the powerful thing actually to clear my path to being, to be myself. Because now we also start to understand what is emotion is really our disturbance state, or when the energy of consciousness disturbs. It disturbs because of our attachment is threatened, moved, or damaged. That means, in other words, what I really realize is that my disturbance of the emotion really arise from when ego is threatened. So that's such a very powerful realization. And then again, at the same time, it's just really very good to find out where is attachment is. We don't need to know where it is created, but it is very important to realize that what is really I'm attached to. So that's why Mike gave us so many ways of trying to see where actually we are attached to. So each one of us also to do this experiment, because he says also we are our own, we have our own laboratory of our consciousness, and we have to go to the depths of each of the questions, like what is it I attach to, what is it I identify to. That questions, if we keep asking ourselves, we start to find out really the truths which I have to, the falsehood actually, which I have to remove, the mistake which I have to correct. And the other thing, Belinda Ben also actually highlighted about it. The main thing I believe also is just sometimes it's just a shift of consciousness. It doesn't even take an effort. The main thing is the role of God in our life. So the role of God in our life is, the sun is always available. And this physical world actually sustained by that sun, and actually start to have life, to really start to see all these forms because of the sun. So God is also always available, or the source of this pure consciousness is always available. But what really makes it we are not benefiting out of this available pure energy is the disturbance of our consciousness. And I like to give you this example, which I always use. Like now, at this moment, wherever country you are, wherever city you are, nowadays, there is a transmission of this FM radios, musics, or anything, or programs. So now we are doing this program. You are listening to me, you are sitting, it's quiet, everything is quiet. But the transmission in each one of our country is still going on the FM radio waves. But we don't hear it. It doesn't disturb us. The reason is we are not on the receiver, either our mobile or a radio gadget. We are not on. Even if you on it, by the way, you make it on. But if you are not tuning it exactly to the frequency of, if it is 97.1 to 97.1, you don't listen nothing. So that means FM 97.1, it doesn't mean that it was not there. It was there. But the only thing is now we make the gadget on and we tune it. The same thing, I always believe that God's vibration, this pure vibration, is available everywhere. But we have to be conscious of that. That means being on, and we have to tune ourselves. That means we have to calm the self, be out of all these emotions, and then that is the time we receive God's energy. So you notice that from so many examples, what Mike gave also. One of the examples, by the way, how much we are moved in our consciousness. So mind really take us somewhere else. He gave us a very powerful example. When you are so much interested in the movie, what you are watching, you don't know where you sit. You don't know who is next to you. You don't even know where you are, but you are totally absorbed and be part of the movie. And you identify yourself even with the hero or with the victim, with one of them, and then you start to feel that emotion and crying and really even saying things what you want them to say. So that means you are totally moved. So now the point is, this much we understood we can be moved away. But in our daily life, because we are not completely moved, we are in and out, we don't notice how much we are moved from the truth. Because sometimes you feel okay, peaceful, sometimes you are not, and sometimes you are too much absorbed in whatever you do. Sometimes you are really doing things calmly and nicely. So we don't notice it. But what actually now from this book I understood is almost everything what we do at this moment, it becomes completely egoistic. That means based on this attachment. And if we notice that, then now we have to work on it. And I would like to end with the point he gave, at least I think the last Belinda Bain session. The point he gave us is, how do we clear these emotions? It's not really by fighting our emotion or our attachment, but identifying, observing, and letting go of it. But the letting go process will happen only when you, the soul, as a soul, start to connect with yourself. In a sense, he gave us these beautiful pointers, which we have to, like a mantra, we have to repeat it. But when we repeat it, it's not really also, we should not get lost on the concept of that. We have to go to the experience of it, like, I am peace, I am love, I am connected, I am creator, I am powerful. All these pointers, we have to sit calm, be calm, and try to do that. And when you are doing that, definitely, oh no, you are not peaceful. you know, you are this and that, you have all these problems. Mind can tell you all those that. Then that is a time actually also to single out, okay, if I am not peaceful, if I am like this, or what creates that? What attachment creates that? And then we can remove that. Or we can give light on that. That's how we can really achieve, each one of us, what we are looking for, that enlightenment, or what we call it, free, peaceful, powerful, creative soul, to be like that. So thank you so much. I will end up with this. Kalpana Ben, you can continue.
Thank you, Brother Go. Good morning, everyone. I think for me, the great learning was definitely each of the sessions that I presented. I really found that it was actually for me, for my own growth and my own checking. And I found during, the times that I was, doing some work, and different situations came up for me in the day. So sometimes it would be the ego at play, because you kind of associate yourself with a certain personality that others see, and so if it doesn't work out in that same way, you often feel a little bit, kind of not so good. And I think it gave me a chance to really reflect, where it didn't matter what was happening, but what was important for me as the person was to check, what am I feeling like? Am I able to, move forward and do what I needed to do my part? And I think it was a very valuable lesson, because I think so often I would identify with maybe a certain personality trait that people have of me. And if I couldn't fulfill that, I would feel very, not so good. But I think in these last few weeks, what happened was that ego got rattled, and I was able to see that I'm identifying with what others see in me. And actually, that's a false identity. And so really letting go of that. So that was very valuable. The other thing I also found very useful was the checking, and so just like an image where you have a pond, and the pond has a lot of like dirt and things that are clouding that pond. And so really moving away those things that cloud my vision of who I truly am and what I am, because those things are just sort of, temporarily there. And the work that I must do is to clear out those things in the pond that are making the pond dirty. And eventually, when you can see, through, that dirty water where it's clearing out, what a wonderful feeling it is, because there is that clarity, that perspective. So I appreciated that very much as we went through the book and listening to the different sessions. Perhaps the other aspect also, I think, also connected with ego, is a sense of acceptance. But like I said earlier, it isn't an acceptance where you sort of feel, okay, I can't be proactive, or I can't do something, but it's an acceptance that allows you to just know that at this point, the situation is something, no matter what I try and do, no matter what I try and, add in, at this point, it's not making any difference. But let me continue with what I need to do, focus, mind my own business, what I need to do. So if I carry on doing that, then it's like the next day, something different transpired. And I realized that it's not whether, I did something that day before, or I tried to do this because I wanted to maybe fix a situation. And then I just realized that sometimes you just have to accept this is the way the thing is, and I can't do anything about it today. But tomorrow is a new day. I can try again. And there's no harm in, putting in my best efforts, but I can't be kind of, how can you say, hankering after a certain outcome, because that's something I don't have control over. I only have control over what I can do now and keep working at doing the right thing and the most positive input I can put in. So that was a nice learning for me as well. And then the other learning I took also is, especially with people I know, sometimes letting oneself get influenced or caught up in the emotion and then acting from that space of an emotional influence. And then just realizing I just need to step back and then be that observer. And when I did that, I could see how, my own internal energy was also conserved. I was able to, bring perspective back and not let my emotional feelings kind of pull me down or drain me. So another good learning for me. And then the other aspect of identifying, what are the things that actually are falsehood, because so often some things could kind of cloak themselves as, the truth or something that's real, but in effect, they're just a very temporary, illusionary reflection. And so just almost like demasking, those things. So it could be my attachment, which I discovered, or my expectation, and then just letting go of those falsehoods. And as I did that, I also found that it then brought me into a space, whether it was with the person or with the situation, in a very real way, where I could see, okay, this is what's happening and this is where I'm at. So what is it that I need to input here? And then it gave me a very clear sense that, what, I need to just work with what I have. And when I did that, I could see how it shifted, the situation and even the person, because there was that realness, that reality. And you could also then also interact. I could interact with the person in a more, dignified and a royal way, rather than letting my emotions dictate how my behavior would be. So very lovely learning there. And I think the other element for me also was this element where, everything is in a constant state of change, and things do move from a state of order to a state of chaos. And the one factor that can make the difference in this world that we're in, where there is this constant disorder now, is actually the input of the Supreme. And again, I think, the input or the influence, which is a beautiful kind of opportunity for the Supreme to make us aware that, we have something incredible in us. And when I can then connect to that source, I can feel that strength and that power coming back to me. So that's something I also reconnected with in a bigger way, because the Supreme's energy is a very quiet energy, and I need to align myself to that stillness, to that opportunity of just being, in the moment, and then I'm able to connect to the energy of the Supreme. So the Supreme or God, whatever you feel, you can relate to. I sort of felt that I was more aware of God's, impact, in my day. So at different moments, and I also found that it was a bit of a physically busy time for me at the office. So using, the power and the energy of the Supreme and my connections, which I made more consistent in the day, I found a great help, because I felt like the Supreme's energy was just there at the right moment, helping me to just shift out of my old feeling, perhaps, or my old awareness of maybe that situation or that influence, and just allowing me to see perspective again. So it was very lovely and a very caring energy I felt, of God, not judging, but just being present, because the need is there for the moment. So yes, many beautiful learnings, rich learnings. So thank you to you as the participants for giving us the opportunity. And it was very lovely working with Sister Belinda and Brother Go. And I think it's the first in many, many years, but I think this also shows you that when you work together with something, how it just brings something that, is of great benefit to oneself. So thank you to both Sister Belinda and Brother Go. And perhaps at this point, I'll invite anyone who wants to share anything, perhaps what they've taken, and or even comments. I mean, you're most welcome. Maybe some things we did that, we could do differently. We're also open to that. So perhaps I can invite anyone who wants to share anything. And then I will close with a little meditation. So Belinda Bin or Brother Go, anything else you want to share? Most welcome.
Thank you. No, it would be nice to hear from others. I really enjoyed the interaction. And you can either put it in the chat or unmute yourself. Very welcome. And I can't resist asking Trevor if there's been any success to finding his lost dog, which he told us about yesterday.
Thanks, sister. Not yet, but I'm hopeful. So I'll be doing a few things today. But thank you for your thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
Wishing you all the best with that, Trevor. Would you like to share any insights while you're unmuted?
Yeah, well, the dog thing, was a challenge in the sense that, because I've been meditating, attending Rise and Shine, so I was feeling really in a good space, calm, peaceful, and also beginning to understand the theory. And then this shook me up. So it's true what I think the other sister was saying, or brother, that sometimes, Sister Belinda, that a cloud comes, so that imagery of a cloud kind of darkening the sun momentarily, I get it through this experience. In any case, there are other benefits because, my friends, people are, I don't know who told people, everyone is so supportive, Yeah, so I really appreciate. So it's a good thing. Yeah, thank you. Oh, my last point, I like that thing brother said about sometimes you are just not getting it because you are not tuned in. So I like that. Yeah, we are not in the frequency.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Trevor. And you see, something good always comes out of these challenging situations. So it's wonderful that you could see, the benefit from something difficult. Yeah. Anyone else?
I also just want to say for brother, sorry for his disturbance of losing his dog. But again, maybe can you please take it like, how do you connect with this lesson also, your disturbance? And somehow you have to, it is maybe a practical example for you. You have to go back and sit down and try to see how do you connect it with the lesson of this total emotions, egos, and everything what we are talking about. And then now really practically we are challenged, like you are challenged definitely in fear, emotion, in sadness, in so many things which actually now definitely you're going through. So, but it's also very good just to calm down and try to look for what is it really create all these emotions, apart from really trying to look for and get the support and find out your dog, but at the same time also try to check the self. It's a very practical time, I believe.
Mr. Kalpna, I think there's a message in the chat. Perhaps you'd like to read it.
Okay, so this is from Debbie. She says, thank you, everyone. Such easy and valuable tools, very enlightening on discovering the many aspects of myself that needs improvement. But with these tools, people sharing experiences, and of course, the foundation of understanding, I am a soul and have God as my true companion. Thank you, Debbie. Okay, so seems like no more comments. So then we can maybe end with some meditation. But thank you everyone for joining us. Like Belinda Ben said, I think there's another comment. Seja says, I came to realize how letting go of the ego and wasteful thoughts can lead to the truth of who I am, self-forgiveness and self-acceptance. Wonderful, very powerful, realizations, because I think this is part of the learning, when we realize things and we can bring them into our practice, and then, it helps improve our own experience of ourselves and even our lives. And I think that's where we can feel the impact. So, okay, thank you. Then we'll do a little meditation. I'll invite you to just relax and allow the body to just let go of any stiffness, any tightness. And as you do this, just allow the vibrations of peace and stillness to move in. Where there was tightness or stiffness, just release that. And in its place, vibrations of stillness, of peace. And as you allow those vibrations to move into your entire physical body, there's a sense of harmony. Every cell in the body is now vibrating in that feeling and awareness of peace, of unity, of joy. And as I turn my awareness as the soul, this being of light, towards the beautiful energy of the Supreme, I discover that the things that I'm so concerned about most of the time are actually not so important. But I discover that in my connection with the source, with this beautiful being of light, I'm reawakened to my strength, my beauty, my joy, the peace that lies very powerfully within I, the soul. And if the supreme energy didn't remind me of what lied within me, it's as if I would remain asleep forever. So I take this awakening to be a very beautiful gift from the Supreme. And I choose every day to be very purposeful and connected to the source, to remind me and reaffirm the beautiful qualities in myself, so that in my day, I am able to use it very effectively as I interact with others, my friends, my family, my colleagues, my environment, the animals and plants, everyone. I can infuse my beautiful qualities so that my expression is one that is filled with that greatness, with that goodness, with that authenticity. And so in this quiet space, let us just reflect on something that Mike shared very beautiful in the end of the book. The way. Most of us grow up believing that there is always something in the way, while many of us spend our entire life wrestling with perceived obstacles. It seems only a few will realize that in reality, there is nothing real in the way. They are the ones who will tear down the curtains of illusion, bringing clarity to their confusions, dispelling their delusions, ultimately helping others to see there never was or is anything in the way. Only then can you be awakened. Only then can you be yourself. Only then can you be truly on your way. So wishing you a very successful day and success on this journey of keeping connected to your authentic self. Om Shanti.
Thank you so much to everyone. It's been a wonderful journey for the month of April. And thank you to my co-presenters. It's been a very special experience. And wishing everyone the best for May. And Rise and Shine will start again on Tuesday, which will be the 3rd of May. So enjoy the public holiday. Take care.